voluntary statewide preschool funding program.
You know what we don't have in our packet is the copy of the agenda that was corrected for the newspapers that has the rec center on it. We have the old agenda, not the one that was published.
We're not even too good yet. Are we on the voluntary?
Yeah, but it's not on this agenda.
Go ahead with this voluntary preschool, and I'll see if I have it on my computer.
Okay. This is the sheet you'd want to look at next.
Oh, there it is, right there.
There you go.
I don't remember seeing it. I didn't get that back again. Oh, I did too.
Okay, we talked last month about the fact that we had sent our application in. We thought we'd be funded at the $77,000 or $78,000 level if our application was approved by the Department of Ed. And what I mentioned earlier is, in the questions asked about additional funding, and we did receive, and when I say we, I'm talking about East Sac County. This is a joint application. It's called a consortium. It's the only way the DE wanted it from our schools that are headed to reorganization. So the new funding is called partial funding yet, and it's $102,364. That does not fully fund the program, but it's about $25,000 more than we had anticipated earlier. And again, that was because some schools in the state of Iowa did not apply. One of the things in the process of applying for the application process is that we learned in the ICM sessions this spring that the program is exclusively for 4-year-olds. So if we receive funding, 5-year-olds cannot be in the 4-year-old program. And that all schools that had 5-year-olds that typically or traditionally attended preschool would really need to think about what you were going to do for a program. So the information you have in front of you is to help talk you through where we're at with students. Let's start out with just what enrollments look like. If school started today, 6/21/10, and that's why I dated it today, the Sac Elementary School currently has 26 kids enrolled in kindergarten with 2 teachers. The Wall Lake Elementary School has 39 with 2 teachers. First grade, 30 in Sac, 31 in Wall Lake, each with 2 teachers. Second grade in Sac has 22 students with 1 teacher. Wall Lake View Auburn has 32 with 2 teachers. Third grade in Sac has 24 students with 1 teacher. Wall Lake View Auburn 41 with 2 teachers. And fourth grade has 40 students at Sac and 31 at Wall Lake View Auburn. So the total K-4 students in Sac Elementary, if school started today, would be 142, and Wall Lake would have 174. There are 8 teachers on contract at Sac Elementary and 10 teachers at Wall Lake. In what I would call pre-kindergarten, we currently have 16 kids that are 5 years old that have signed up for what we thought was going to be preschool. Because at that time we were not funded, and we truthfully weren't very confident that we would get funded. So those would be kids that either have gone to the 4-year-old program prior to this year and decided, you know what, need to have another year as a 5-year-old, or have never gone to preschool, but it will be their first experience at school. No matter what, those 16 kids, 8 at Sac and 8 at Wall Lake View Auburn, are fully funded kids because they're 5 by September 15th. Okay, so that's one thing to remember. So we have 16 kids at roughly $6,000 each per pupil cost that really have parents that don't believe they're ready for kindergarten and have preschool teachers if they've been in preschool prior to this time. Now that could have been preschool that was a private preschool, it could have been our preschool, but for some reason or another, both parents and or teacher have believed that they're not kindergarten ready for the full-blown, all-day kindergarten program. That gives the district in Sac 150 school-age kids, and at Wall Lake 182 school-age kids. The numbers that we have below that are actual 4-year-olds that are signed up at this time, today. We have 25 in the Sac district and 30 at the Wall Lake View Auburn district. Those would be 2 sections of kids. So for the 25, there'll be an AM and a PM, and for the 30, there'll be an AM and a PM. It's a 20 6-to-1 ratio, students to associates. So anything up to 20, we have one associate, one licensed teacher. SAC has a full-time preschool teacher, Walleye Few Auburn has a full-time preschool teacher, and we already have associates. Occasionally, there are additional associates if we've got any special education identified kids in those preschools. Walleye Few Auburn has the 4-year-old preschool program, the early childhood special ed program. And SAC has tuition kids to that program. We've never had enough kids in early childhood special ed to have 2 separate programs. And kids can be 3 or 4, maybe even 5, and still be in that early childhood special ed, ECSE program. We believe we have no special ed kids this year in either district. So of those 25 at SAC and of those 30 at Walleye, those are 4-year-old kids that have no identification with an IEP. Question.
Do you think there's more preschool age kids out there
Yes.
now?
Yes,
And
we do.
that would come now because they know that it's not going to be as expensive?
This question is, do we think that there are some more 4-year-old kids that will come because it's not as expensive? For one thing, you reduce the tuition to $40.
Yeah.
I would suggest you leave it at $40. Reduced kids would come for $16 a month, and free kids would come free. Leave the tuition, even though we've got just a little bit more funding. Every year, about this time, what we find out is when school starts, we haven't known how many preschool kids we have. So it's people that either haven't signed up, never thought about doing it until school starts, and we've got room for more preschool kids. So we could have up to 40 kids in each SAC and Walleye Few Auburn before we really even have to talk about another associate. So really, we have some room, but we just can't have 5-year-olds in there.
Okay. We have some Lytton kids, or Lytton parents that are talking about opening enrollment the kids to SAC.
Okay.
So, but I don't know how many. They don't want
Some
to stay
kids that
all the way
have,
to.
some kids that have preschoolers do there.
I don't know.
You're not sure?
Don't
Okay.
know.
Okay.
I'm just thinking, once they see the
The tuition is
tuition,
reduced.
yeah, that
They're going to be able to
there's
afford
going
it.
to, there's going to be some say, oh, I'll send them that,
And
you know.
Mike Fisher and I just talked about this the other day, that every year about this time, we never have the most inaccurate count we always have is our preschool kids. Because we have some families that we can put it in our newsletter, we can put it in the newspaper every month of the cotton picking year. And about August 1st, it's like, I never saw anything, and I decided I'd like to sign my kids up, which is just fine, that's just fine. But what we want is every 4-year-old we can get our hands on, because our actual full funding for the following year depends upon how many 4-year-olds are enrolled this year. So come September 15th, whatever is enrolled in our preschool is what will be fully funded for at 0.6 times FTE times the per pupil cost for the following year, for the 11-12 school year.
4 by September 15th.
4 by September 15th. And we want every one of those kids we can get. We're talking with Head Start, again, about how we can make sure those kids that go to Head Start attend our program the other part of the day. That'll be 4-year-olds, not 3-year-olds. So we've got some cooperative conversations going with them.